Welcome to the Life Activated Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Roberts, and this podcast is intended to empower you to live your passions right here, right now, encouraging you to be uniquely, magically you, trusting yourself, your intuition, that inner GPS that exists within all of us. And the intention is that it is a catalyst to get you out of the sidelines of your own life, because let's face it, I know you're here to do big things, and being on the sidelines means nothing is happening, and we can't have that. So I hope that every episode inspires you to step fully into your passions, what you are here to do every single day. Can you believe we have made it to the end of season 4? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Life Activated podcast. This season, I hope, inspired you hearing from all these amazing women and how they are bringing their passions to life, whether it be it through dance, through photography, through podcast management, becoming a jewelry maker, creating their first novel book. There are so many different ways that we live our passions and that they manifest in this world. I'm getting so emotional even thinking about it and talking about it. It's really funny. I literally had this internal moment just now where I was thinking, what is going on? I feel the welling up of my emotions. And I realize it's honestly because I'm so passionate about this, and I see so much really suffering is the word I want to use, because we don't follow our passions. And that suffering can show up in so many different ways. Depression, frustration, anger, feeling truly unfulfilled in our lives, doing all those things that we're obligated to do, but they aren't ours. I actually just saw this post from the holistic psychologist, and it's exactly how I feel and what I've witnessed being in recruiting. Oh my God, I can tell you so many stories from college students who went down these paths because they had to. Their parents expected them to, their families expected them to. They were following their friends who, were doing the things. They didn't want to be the outsider. And then they found themselves, in a shit ton of debt, because I was in recruiting for finance and tech. So that means that a lot of kids were going to schools that were 50 grand and above for each year, by the way. I don't mean just like for the full time there. Anyway, I want to read this to you. And she says in this post, take the path you're called to rather than the path they chose for you. You'll disappoint them at first, but you'll be happy. They'll come around naturally. And I agree with this. It's like she reads my mind sometimes, because these are the things that I say. And it's true. It doesn't matter if it is as simple and small as your wedding and what you're wearing, or your venue, anything like that, right? Because people get wrapped up in that crap too. To the job you do, or the passion that you choose to follow. I mean, hello. Do you know who I'm married to? I'm married to a dude who is a massive role play gamer, and he games at least, 2 to 3 nights a week with his friends that are some local, some are, far away. He has games that are virtual and in person. Guess what? I don't care that he games. It says nothing about him as a person, the human that he is. It is his passion, his outlet, the thing that makes him feel joy and happy. So go game. enjoy yourself. I also know people who aren't doing those things because their partner has told them that that's stupid, they shouldn't do it, or they feel that they can't carve out one day a week or one day a month. John plays one game once a month to have fun that's just their own. So you see, this isn't just about living your passion from a career standpoint, a vocation standpoint. Living your passion shows up in a multitude of ways. Doing the things that you love. And not doing the things that you love is when you lose who you are, yourself, your core, your essence. And that's what we're not about here at Live Activated. That's not what we're about. We're about inspiring you to do what it is that is calling you. So I just want to remind you that when we aren't following our passions, when we aren't listening to the calling, to the nudges, I shared with you earlier this season in my solo episode how that manifested in my life, and it wasn't pretty. When we don't listen, shit gets shitty. Let's be real. I'm laughing about it now, and I will always laugh about it, I'm sure. Because there's comedy in our humanness and in our resistance to listening to the calling of our hearts, the higher self, our intuition, our knowing. I do have some questions for you to consider as you reflect on the season. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to every episode, I invite you to go back, listen to the episodes from this season, even go back to episodes from previous seasons. If they're long, don't skip them. Just do what I do. Don't skip it. Put that speed on 1.25. You'll be surprised at how quickly the episodes go. But go back and listen. Allow yourself to be inspired. And I know that for some of you, you might think that this can't be possible for me when you're listening to some of the episodes. Maybe you listen to the episode with, Rita talking about the book, and you might think I can't do that, or Tina talking about leaving corporate, and even me leaving corporate. And you might say that I can't do that. And I will invite you to not close off to the possibilities. I will also invite you to ask, what else can you do? In what way can you bring your passion to life? So that leads to the questions that I have for you to close out this season as you reflect on your own passions. What is keeping you from your dreams? Ask yourself, journal on it, write about it, think about it. What is keeping you from your dreams? And then the last question, just 2 questions for this one, which is, what one step can you take to get closer to living your passions? One step. So often we try to take these steps that are huge. I think I talk about it all the time, right? Trying to get back into an exercise routine and saying that you're going to go run 7 miles 7 days a week probably is going to lead to failure. But if you said that you were going to walk 30 minutes 3 days a week and build momentum, before you know it, you might be back up to 7 days a week of running faster without any pain. So what one step can you take to get yourself closer to your dreams? And then I lied. I'm adding one more thing in there is, who do you need to tell? Who needs to know about your passion? Who needs to know about the step that you're taking? And how can they help you? And what does that look like for you? How will it feel when they help you? So those are the questions for you to consider, to ponder. And I want to remind you, I'm going to say this with deep conviction. You deserve to have the life that you desire. And it sounds cheesy, and I don't care. but you do deserve it. We are here to live our lives, to follow our passions and our dreams. And your passions are just as important as anyone else's. They are never too big. They're never too small. And they were given to you for a reason. All right. That's it for this season. I'm always truly so thankful that you are here on this journey with me, with the Life Activated podcast. Without you, this podcast would not be possible. And I know I say that all the time, and it's true. So thank you for being a part of the Life Activated family, podcast family. And if you are getting value out of this podcast in any way, my ask is that you rate and review the podcast on Apple or on Spotify. Spotify is super easy. It's just a star. On Apple, it's not only helpful to do the stars, but to say something. And share these episodes with your friends, your family, that girl down the street who could really use inspiration. Because without you listening and without you sharing, this podcast cannot grow. All right. Until next season, I think I probably said this last time, but I think this next season is going to be predominantly solo. It's going to be a little bit different. And then we will get back into episodes in the following season where I will be interviewing people. But we're going to try out a season where it is predominantly solo. So get ready. All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening to the Life Activated podcast. If this message from today's episode resonated with you, if it inspired you to start to live your passions, to take action in your life, then do me a favor and rate and review us. Because honestly, that is the only way that this podcast will be found by others just like you. If you don't want to miss the podcast, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing to the podcast ensures that you never miss an episode. All right. Thanks so much for supporting the Life Activated podcast. Until next time.